When to tell a date you're trans. Rip the band-aid off. Don't be afraid of losing a person. Be afraid of losing time. I had a client who was texting a guy for 2 weeks. She did everything right. She wrote on her profile that she's trans. She was even sending voice notes so he knew what her voice sounded like. So it's game time for her date, and she's there on his front doorstep. He opens the door and immediately slams it in her face. He calls her from inside the house.
You didn't tell me you were trans. This date is over.
Now look, I'm not someone who seamlessly passes all the time, mostly because of my voice. I will never know what it's like to not be perceived as trans at least some of the time. I assume that most people know. But it bears repeating. If you're trans, just say it. Rip the band-aid off.
But it's written clearly on my profile.
People don't read. Reiterate it. Redirect them to your profile. And I quote, "Did you see the part of my profile where it says I'm trans?"
But I don't want to tell them in person.
No one's saying you have to. Message them on the app. Don't give out your precious number without them knowing. They're either going to be okay with it or they're not. And at least then you'll have your answer.
Once they know I'm trans, that's all I'll ever be to them.
Now, is that the truth? Or is that the story you're telling yourself? You are not defined by your transness. The people who matter don't mind, and the people who mind don't matter. If someone starts asking about your surgery history and you're put off by that, then they're already not the person for you.
I'm afraid how they'll react.
You can't control someone's reaction, but you can mitigate the risks. Text them through a Google Voice. Tell them on FaceTime. If you're at the club, I'm not saying pull them off the dance floor to have the talk. If someone offers to buy you a drink and you want to, go off, sis. You don't owe them shit. Just make sure you watch your drink get made. But if you intend on seeing someone romantically in some capacity, you might want to tell them within the first few interactions. I'm not saying it's your job or your duty. I'm not even talking about the safety aspect, but for your own peace of mind. When I hear about the hoops stealth people have to jump through, making excuses for why they don't have childhood photos, or why they never get their period, that kind of mental gymnastics sounds exhausting. I get it. It's frustrating having to come out over and over again, but you will save yourself a lot of heartache. I want you to be so unbothered. Like, yes, I'm trans, and the sky is blue. I can't change that. It is what it is. Life is too short to convince someone to love you. Don't be afraid of losing a person. Be afraid of losing time. First dates are replaceable. Time is not. My client invested 2 weeks into a person when she should have invested none. It's not about attracting every fish in the sea. It's about attracting better fish. If you're feeling stuck in your love life, book a discovery call to learn more about what coaching can do for you. Let's take the power back, sisters.